Yes, people, welcome back to the panel show, your weekly installment of a combination of Manchester City fans who are about to talk about a turbulent few weeks. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all enjoyed the Big Steve show last night. Special guest appearance from FG himself. He was very good to join us. And he was great in the show as well. But listen, before we get started into all the conversations, all the stuff we want to talk about, house rules as always, please smash a like on this stream. It massively helps us here. Helps new people find the channel, and subscribe if you're new around here. We're getting very close to 85k now. Then we're on the home straight to the big 100k, and we can all have a big party. And Jordan can DJ for us, and Freddie can pay for the whole goddamn thing. But listen, lads, it was it's been like I said, a turbulent few weeks. We're 3 draws on the bounce. Martin, I mean, are we gonna have Pep out soon? I hope.
How'd you always come to me first?
You're the voice of reason, Martin. We look at you as the father figure.
He's not coming at me. No, listen, there's no panic. I don't. The only thing that's concerning is the tweaking tactics a little bit. But listen, it's December. We're always like this. I know I'm going to sound all happy clappy here, but with 3 points off the top, we're not. And I know there's a worry because of this new way we're playing, but we're still creating, we're scoring. Thing is, if you look at Liverpool, we'd have scored our chances with 3-4 away. Tottenham, we should have been 4 clear at half time. So it's not a creating chances sort of situation. It's more of, like I just said, we've just got to get that midfield's a little bit of an issue, but I think, honestly, I've sat and thought about the looks at it. I think injuries have just killed us this season. If you look, we've got so many injuries in that midfield area. Jon Stones, he's took his time with. He's basically done with Stones what he did with Diaz. Put him on the bench for 3 games, but had no intention to play him because it was just rest until you get back in, like he did with Diaz. But Stones is back tomorrow. Kovic is fit. Nunes, I honestly don't. I think fans are having a meltdown over Nunes. I don't understand. He's played about 4 games, and fans have just melted down on him and told everyone he's crap.
I know people are starting to ditch on him, and it's weird because he's barely even had time to prove himself.
Like my word, it's like Doku was amazing. Then Saturday, then Sunday was crap again. It's like, can we stop all this? Let's become one again. Yeah. We work under a siege mentality. We work when we're all rowing in the one direction. When we all splinter off and we all start making excuses and we all start having to go at each other, that's when the cracks all come in. We need to all become one, push in one direction. And I'm telling you, even if we don't win tomorrow night, I honestly think we'll still win the league. I'm with Pep. I think we'll win the league. Because I think January we'll get somebody, maybe 2. And then I think we'll push on. We get everyone fit. No other team has got, I don't care who they've got in January. No one's got a KDB coming back into that quality. No team has got KDB or any else. They can go and buy who they want. Nobody's got Kevin De Bruyne coming back.
Fact.
And that is going to be massive for us.
But just to play devil's advocate, Martin, do you think Kevin De Bruyne coming back solves all the problems? Do you know what I mean? It elevates us back to the level that you're talking about, because I think we're a bit light. I think we're a bit light in general, and I don't want to put all the pressure on KDB to come back and say you have to fix this or you have to improve defensive issues that we have, because we quite clearly have defensive issues as well. You have to improve squad depth, which is something he obviously can't do.
Do you know the thing on the defensive issues? I think it's seriously because we're not backing each other up as much anymore. If you look, we're trying to get that ball a bit forward, that 10% quicker. You know, go back to we're 3-2, 89 minutes. We're pushing for the fourth goal. 99% of the time, typical City are knocking the ball around at the back for 5 minutes to keep it 3-2. We didn't. We're trying to knock the ball long all the time. Get it forward quick. I think when I watched it back, it was one of our misplaced passes that gave the ball over to Spurs anyway.
Yeah.
Gave them the chance to get going.
I think it was Alvarez.
That's not us. I just think at the minute, things aren't quite clicking. I mean, by the way, Pep's got to stop staying, come to the Etihad and have fun. And then in his post-match, did you have fun? No, this isn't fun, Pep, mate. You might think this is fun. This ain't fun, mate. Stop. Stop listening to fans on Twitter, because we know you're on there. Stop listening to them and go back to what you know. Simple. And we fix up. And honestly, I still believe we'll win this league by about 5 points, 8 points.
So does Pep.
I'm that confident.
So
I'm with you. I'm with you on that, Martin. I'm with you. I think we'll win the league. I think we'll win the league comfortably. I know that we keep saying as like fans, like, oh yeah, second half of the season, and that's where we usually kick in. And I still believe that. I believe that we played some better football than we did last year, and we did the treble last year. But and then I've seen other fans saying, oh yeah, but Arsenal aren't playing good and they're top of the league. Yeah, but Arsenal won't go to the levels that we'll go to in this second half of the season. There's no chance. In the second half of the season, we always level up, and I still think everyone else is still far behind us.
George, don't you think that, for me personally, and listen, that's my go-to. It always has been the go-to, and there's a reason why it is our go-to, yeah? Because usually it does happen. But what if it doesn't, right? The players... No, I'm joking, like, not joking.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
What if it doesn't? Like this whole, oh no, it's fine, business end of the season thing. Look, for me, the one thing that we can be consistent with is the best Manchester City win the league every single season, yeah? But we have to be the best Manchester City. Now, where I am at the moment is I'll get back behind you. Well, I'm going to be behind you anyway, but I'll get back to saying business end of the season when I see that we can be the best Manchester City, because the last 4 games, we haven't been that, and that's the frustrating thing. Everyone's looking at complacency. It could be complacency. It could be. But I also look at it and think, or is it that the control, the system, there's too many players missing from what won the treble last season. And it was control in midfield before. We had Stones as a defender coming in, giving control in midfield, right? We had Gundogan, possession, control in midfield. De Bruyne, possession, control in midfield. Even Grealish left. I know he's as a winger, but still contributing. Now, we haven't got any of them lot there. And then we're playing Alvarez and Foden, basically both as kind of like 10s, which is not as much control in midfield. And it just, to me at the moment, this, you know, Pep has always been known as this guy that wants 11 midfielders on the pitch, right? But then all of a sudden this season, it's like we're playing with a lot less control in midfield. And then behind that, our defence has changed a lot compared to last season. I've got to say, I don't think Walker this season for me has not been good. He started off the season well going forward. We weren't talking about Walker was looking good defensively at the start of the season. We were talking about Walker going forward was surprising us, because last season, I think Walker was a bit poor going forward. This season, he's looking better going forward, but he's forward too much. I've just called out midfielders that aren't there. But then if you look, the defence was Ake, Diaz, Akanji, Stones, right? Now it's Gvardiol, Diaz, Akanji, who's now trying to do the Jon Stones role, and then it's Walker on the right. And I even question Walker's captaincy at the moment as well, that I don't know if he is the right guy to have the armband. Look, I'm being reactionary, I know I am, but it's kind of it's making it a bit easier for me to be reactionary, because You know, when you come on and you defend your team and you sound like a broken record, you're saying it's fine, business end of the season, business end of the season. It's like, what if that doesn't happen? And what if the one season we haven't won the league in the last 6, is it 6 or 5? Last 6 is when Liverpool won it, right? Now, Liverpool won it by getting so far ahead of us first half of the season, because actually that season, the second half, we were good. We were very good the second half of the COVID season, right? But we let them get too far ahead. Now, at the moment, we're okay, but there's 6 of us on this panel. Are any of us going to put our neck on the lines and say we win? Are any of us that confident to say we win tomorrow night? Anyone? Any
Silence is golden.
That's what I'm saying. Right? So at the moment, we're only 3 points off,
That's how
right?
Spanish he is.
And this is what I go with. The best Manchester City will win the league. Yeah, the best Manchester City. We saw that last season. Remember when we beat Tottenham 4-2? Yeah, that wasn't the best Manchester City. I said after that game, listen, Rico Lewis at that point is still as a just turned 18, I think he was. I was like, at that point, this is not a team that can win the league. But if we get back to the best Manchester City, if Bernardo Silva gets back to his best, we win this league, and we know that now. But we need to see it. Otherwise, if we go to Villa and we're not on job, without Rodri, without Doku, without Grealish, none of us, we've just seen it. None of us can guarantee we're going to win that game. Now, I'll say it as well. I watched Luton v Liverpool, right? And we know, listen, on our day, we batter Luton, right? Same Liverpool do. But if you go to Luton on a Sunday, playing the way we are at the moment, I'm not saying we'll lose, but we might not pick up all 3 points. Then all of a sudden, we're not talking about being 3 points behind Arsenal. We're talking about being what? 5, 7, 8 points behind Arsenal, and we haven't even got into the festive season. I presume with the Club World Cup, they're probably going to play 1 or 2 games while we're away, maybe. I know we'll have games in hand, but again, that could be more points. We could be going into the new year 10 points behind Arsenal, right? And then we're going, it's all right because business end of the season. So we need a reaction. For me, I need to see a reaction from the players. Like, I need to see that. And that is on Pep as well, because Pep needs to do whatever he needs to do to motivate these players at the moment. And it's not, in a couple of games. We're playing Aston Villa away from home tomorrow. Do you know if we lose that game, Villa go above us?
Yeah, they're only 1 point behind us.
Well, so we need a reaction right now, yeah? Because being the treble winners does not put you in a title race. You have to earn that right.
There's clearly issues. Look, there's clearly issues. I think if we're going to sit here and say there's absolutely nothing wrong, you're probably wrong. But the beauty of it is they're not irreparable. And I said on the Big Six last night that we're probably the one team in the title race that can have these kind of issues and this kind of adversity at this stage of the season and still have faith that we can win the Premier League. I know Martin and Jordan just expressed that they believe we can win it. I believe we can win it. I'd be surprised if the rest of you don't. But I'm just trying to put my finger on what the issue is. I'm seeing all sorts of people throw all sorts of ideas. And I'm not saying anything's right or wrong, but Amos, treble hangover, Daps has a bit of complacency. Is there a touch of all of it? Tactical? I don't know. I mean, where do you stand with it?
Yeah, I think everyone's trying to find a solution. I'm not quite sure at the moment there is one, because I think everyone can point to issues. For example, against Leipzig, it was simply poor defending, and we had a bloody chant last year: best defense in Europe. Yeah. We're Man City. That's how it went, because we went to the Bernabeu, and albeit conceded a worldie, but we shut Real Madrid down, we shut Bayern Munich down, we shut all of the Premier League clubs down in that second half of the season. That's not happening at the moment. However, the chances we're conceding, Pep Guardiola mentioned this in his press conference today, we're conceding less chances, and the goals we're conceding are sort of the low XG chances, to use that phrase. They're not, we're not suffering onslaughts, basically. So there is that to look at. I do subscribe to the idea that we need to re-find control of matches, because I think had that Tottenham game been played in, let's say, April of last season, City go 2-1 up in the first half, we might miss a couple more chances. Harland did miss some sitters last season, albeit they weren't as many, but in that second half the game finishes 2-1. I have no doubt about that. The same with Chelsea. It finishes 2-1. It finishes 3-2, whatever. We beat Liverpool 1-0 because even though we're not going to find that next goal, we find a way to keep the ball off them. That isn't happening this season. I do think it is kind of in terms of the system and the personnel, because at the moment, how I see City is they're playing a 4-1-5 in the sense that you've got your 5 defensive players, Rodri in the back 4, and you've got your 5 attacking players in Bernardo, Alvarez, Doku, Harland. Yeah, and it's just imbalanced, and I don't know if we can go on like that into the second half of the season. I think it will sort itself out, and I think anyone saying City aren't favourites to win the Premier League title, is a brave person, basically. But I do feel like when the games start to matter a little bit more, because while there have been big games the last couple of weeks, they don't matter as much as they will do in February, March, April, May, etc. And the Champions League knockouts as well, DME. If we went up against a Bayern Munich, a Real Madrid playing like that, I think it's going to be a difficult night. So I do want to see changes. I don't think there need to be drastic changes. I don't think we should be sat here pressing the panic buttons going, the world's about to collapse in itself, because I think everyone would agree we were the better team against Chelsea, we were the better team against Liverpool, much the better team against Liverpool, and for all intents and purposes battered Tottenham, and they scored 3 of the chances they had. So, room for improvement, don't get me wrong, but certainly not sort of, we're not ripping up season tickets and asking for Peter Swales to come back just yet.
Do you know what? I think there was a stat between February and the Wolves game, I think it was, that we hadn't conceded more than one goal in a game.
Jeez.
And now you look at it, and this is the thing. This is what has really, really, really pissed me off with predominantly rivals, but as well some City fans online, mainly on Twitter, that were trying to moan about Harland on Sunday, right? And for me, if we look at the Chelsea game, we scored 4 goals, right? The Leipzig game, we scored 3 goals. And the game at the weekend, we scored 3 goals. Now, if you're telling me we have to score 5 goals in every game to win it, yeah, what football are you watching? That is not how football works, right? For me, Erling Haaland on Sunday, yeah, do you know what? He missed chances. But this narrative that, he's not that good in front of goal. Shut up. Look at his numbers. Away from that, he got 2 assists. But more importantly than even that, in that second half, he kept running, right? There was a lot of players in that second half that weren't working as hard as Erling Haaland was. He was running his socks off. He cares, yeah? I am not doubting him. There were some players at the weekend who I feel, whether they were tired or lacked heart or it was just a bit of complacency, Erling Haaland was not that guy. He was running about. I mean, by the way, if Grealish would have scored and it would have been allowed, what an assist for that one as well. That I think this narrative, to look at Haaland is almost letting the defence and the midfielders off the I got my word again, but off, you know what I mean. But,
Hook.
Off the hook. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think going forward, actually, there hasn't been too many issues. Yes, we've missed a few chances. That's not where the issues are. If we've scored 3 against Leipzig, 4 against Chelsea, 3 against Tottenham, people can't say, we're not taking our chances. That's quite a lot of goals. We're conceding too many. And remember at the start of the season, people were saying that this defence this season could break Chelsea's record of the number of goals conceded in the league.
Who said that?
Definitely wasn't me and you, Hugh. Definitely wasn't me and you.
I'm joking.
At the time, I was thinking, what are you talking about? But it is true. I just think, I just hope Pep's done a lot of, spoke to a few senior players. The good thing is, I do think we've got the players that care, and I do think we do have the players that will bounce back. But Villa is a very, very hard one. And I said this last night. I want to see Calvin Phillips start.
We are going to get onto Villa. I do want to get onto Villa, but I want to keep talking a little bit about the conversation we're having now, because I do quite like it, and I think a point you made there is it's relevant and it's applicable. I think that the issue does lie with the defense, because if you think about it, if you patch up your defense and it goes back to say even 90% of the way to being as solid as it was last season, there's going to be a game comes along soon where we batter someone 4 or 5-0. Because if you look at the chances that we're creating, Liverpool and Tottenham, and then we scored 4 against Chelsea. We're scoring high numbers, and one of these days, we would have scored high numbers. One of these days, Haaland's going to take these chances. One of these days, Doku's ball that hits the crossbar goes into the top corner, and it's a totally different thing. So my actual issue doesn't really lie with the attack. It doesn't really lie with the attack. It's more the defensive midfield and the back four type thing. I mean, I want to ask you guys about Akanji and the Jon Stones role thing. Joe, have you any thoughts on that one? It doesn't run for me. I'm not a fan of it.
It's pointless. It's pointless keeping going with it because it clearly doesn't work. Yeah, like I get it. Like Pep's got to do something because he clearly wants to stick with this 3 centre half thing, but he keeps changing it in the middle of games. You ever notice where we'll play first half and Akanji will be playing the Jon Stones role, then the second half it'd be Walker playing on the right wing because he doesn't know which one's better and which one's worse because they both don't really work because Walker can't cross a ball. And Akanji just can't do that role. He just can't do it. But he's got to try and find something, which is why I find it strange that he maybe hasn't tried Rico Lewis a bit more. Because he can play that role that Jon Stones does, albeit maybe from a slightly different position because he starts off as a fullback. But I don't want to see Akanji play that role again. Like he said, did he not say he's been watching videos of Jon Stones and trying to learn how to do it? Well, I don't know what videos he's watching because it's not working. He hasn't really learned that much.
Joe,
yeah, I just think it's a bit pointless.
If you think about it, right, Jon Stones, did we pay 50 million for Jon Stones? Was it 50?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it 7 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So 50 million for a centre-back 7 years ago, yeah? You know he costs a damn sight more now, yeah? And at that point, he was a defender that was known to be very comfortable on the ball. Always has been. We've gone and got Akanji. Listen, I'm not slating Akanji. He's come in and for a £14 million defender in his first season, brilliant. He's still our 5th choice centre-back, by the way, in my eyes. And you're asking him to do the Jon Stones role and he's watching videos of him. Really? Really? Listen, when we were being linked with Vincent Kompany as manager, I said, are we really going to replace Pep Guardiola with Vincent Kompany based on 6 months at Burnley, right? Are we really trying to replace Jon Stones with someone that's watching videos of him? It's the same thing. The levels aren't there. And I'm with you, Rico Lewis. Every time I see Rico Lewis this season, he's looking like one of our best players on the pitch. Energy. That second half, from the minute the second half started, you could tell our team lacked energy. And I was saying, we need Rico on because Rico will come on. And play, all right, play a bit further forward than Rodri because to me, Rico's looking more and more like a box-to-box now. But that is what we needed. And I'm with you, Joe. I don't get why Rico hasn't got... I don't get it. I think the good thing is Stones should be back. I think he's been on the bench for 3 games now, right?
Stones is back, is available.
He should start DM tomorrow night for me. He should start number 6 on his own. He is after Rodri, he is the next best number 6.
Stones is my second choice CDM.
That says a lot, though, doesn't it? That's
yeah.
But you know what? I don't fully agree on the Stones thing fully, only because he missed a lot of last season, by the way.
Yeah, but when it matters,
everyone's forgotten about.
Oh, everyone forgets about that every year, bro. Listen,
he missed a lot last season.
Yeah, he misses a lot most seasons, to be fair.
To me, I think there's been a tweak in it. I know what you're saying about the defense, but to me, any defense in world football, when they're exposed like ours are at the minute, are gonna get shown up.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. How many games? It's 3 games on the bounce now. You can drive the Titanic through our midfield.
Yeah.
Rodri,
it's too easy. You can walk straight through.
Rodri's not Terminator. Basically, Rodri stood there now going, do I go that side, up, down? And he's got them coming at all ends to him. What Pep's got to say is to Bernardo or Alvarez or Foden or whoever, go back and help him.
Yeah.
Someone do something. Or he tweaks Rico in, whatever. But we've got to stop this front 5, back 5 separation, and you're not allowed to go past the halfway line nonsense.
Do you know that every game we've dropped points in this season, every single game we've dropped points in the league in this season, we did not start the game with Stones or Grealish. Because some of them we still have Rodri in. They are the 2 players that have not started one of the games that we have dropped points in. Now, I'm not saying Grealish and Stones come in and change everything. But what I am saying is, with De Bruyne out, with Gundogan out, or gone, sorry, it's too many changes, like for me. And I think we've seen it with Doku, that Doku is, Doku going forward is great. But I also think now Grealish's confidence has been knocked a little bit. That when we have seen Grealish, he's not looking quite like the Grealish of last season.
And whose fault's on that one, though, Daps?
Yeah.
What we've been saying for ages, stop this Doku Grealish debate.
Yeah.
Because it was going to destroy things.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, no. I want Doku Grealish.
It's one or the other, isn't it? And it doesn't make sense.
He recycles the ball far too much. And it's
one or
great.
the other. Now we've got neither.
Exactly. Why could we not just do this? We always said they're both in a City shirt, support both. Everyone went to Team Doku and Jack was just put out into the cold for some weird reason. I don't get it. And the weird thing is, this is really weird. Looking at the stats today on this, and this is not a dig at Doku. Take that Bournemouth game out, the level pegging on stats this season.
Yeah, there is.
That's mad.
Honestly, take the Bournemouth game out.
And what stats you mean in GA, right?
Yeah. On the GA, they're exactly the same.
And there has been moments where Doku's given the ball away, and then Doku. The thing with Doku is that Doku's burst of pace going forward is sensational, but his actual speed over longer distances is not so. So the few times that you've seen Doku have to chase people back, they start getting away from him.
Like
we saw that in Scotland the other day.
Go on, Amos, do you say something?
I said, I totally agree. I mean, Doku's been a wonderful breath of fresh air, and he's certainly a piece to City's Arsenal that they didn't have last season. I think it was a totally right decision to bring him in. However, I do feel like he's played too much, and that might sound crazy because every time he's got the ball, it seems like something's going to happen. But I just feel like we went from Old Trafford, where Jack Grealish and Bernardo Silva, for me, put together probably two of the best individual performances we've seen. And it is United, don't get me wrong, but they tore them to shreds. They were fantastic on that sort of left-hand side linking up. And then the next big game we had, because it was Bournemouth, obviously Doku got the 4 assists, and it was like, okay, you can't drop a player who's got 4 assists and a goal. And we went to Chelsea, and I think everyone watched that game and went, this was a Jack Grealish game. And then we had Liverpool, and Doku was great, but at the same time, he did leave City a little bit exposed. I think Doku's probably a victim of this system because, as I said it before, we are playing what is a very top-heavy starting lineup at the moment. Alvarez has got to be in there because he's got to be close to Harland. Harland needs that player to bounce off him. Phil Foden's having the season of his life, essentially. He's getting a goal, assist pretty much every game. You can't drop him. Doku, again, he's exciting. So you're sort of left in this place where you can't take one out of the team because they're playing too well, and ultimately you just end up with this splodge of very good attacking players, but as we've said, just zero control when it's going the opposite way. And I do feel sorry for the defence. I feel sorry for Gvardiol, Ake, even Kyle Walker to an extent, but I think that's a separate conversation because I do think his level's dropping off a little bit. But you expose any
Ake actually, for me, Ake was one of our best players last season.
Well, he was Mr. Consistency.
And he's one of our most composed defenders. Look, people will say, we got dunked on by Kulusevski because he got out-jumped, right? But for me, against Leipzig, Ake came in and made a world of difference just by the fact that Ake is so composed, stays on his feet, doesn't dive in. And I think we've missed Ake a lot. Listen, I'm a big fan of Gvardiol, but when we bought Gvardiol, did everyone else picture this in your head? Ake, Gvardiol, Diaz, Stones. Yeah, but for me, that's what I pictured. And
I didn't think he'd go back to fullback.
I was getting a boner at the thought of Diaz and Gvardiol and Stones all playing together. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, right? I was mad excited, triple way high fives and that, right? And then Gvardiol's playing as a left back, and because of that, Ake, who was one of our best, and when I say consistent last season, I mean before we turned good in February, right? Ake came in, and I even remember the Bournemouth game at second or third game of the season last season. Ake started playing at left back and just getting back, and because he's quick, getting back and winning the ball off of players. And how good Ake was, even when the rest of us weren't looking so good, Ake was still looking good last season. And because of Gvardiol not playing as a centre back, because of Pep's, it's weird. It's Pep obsession with playing the Kanji almost.
Do you know what it is to me?
don't really get it.
Make Bernardo a straight. If you're going to play him, make him a straight left back or left centre back. On Sunday, it was like he did against Arsenal, if you remember, was up like Walker on the right. He was just bombing. And I'm like, and I don't know if anyone was, I sat there going, we're playing this system. Wouldn't mind Cancelo back right now if we're gonna play like this.
Yeah, if they're going to be so attacking, then Cancelo will do bits.
Cancelo was an idiot and he deserved to go 100%. But Cancelo got upset because we changed the system and he was out the team.
Yeah,
and then we've gone right back to when he was with it. And you're like, that's just the ironic thing. To me, do you know what it is? I'll be straight and I'm not going to call out City fans, but simple fact is, I think
You're
some
about to call out City
fans, some fans have got too used to winning leagues and too used to winning everything else. And because I hear it all the time, we're not Real Madrid, we're not United, we're not Liverpool, we're better than them. Well, some of you are acting like them right now because we're 3 points off the top, we've not won.
Yeah.
You know, how dare we not win the league? So what? We don't win the league. We don't win the league. So what?
Yeah.
It's not our given right that we win the league every year.
No,
like,
it's not.
I just want
You've got a God's given right to win. I was speaking with someone, you probably know who it is. Champions League semi-final and first or second was the minimum. I said, minimum?
Hamza.
Minimum? No.
Oh.
He's in Australia. He's probably watching. But you know exactly who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
Listen, and I love him to bits, but that's what I got. First and second minimum Champions League semi-final. So you don't want much.
Yeah,
no, it's not,
yeah, not asking for a lot here.
I just, do you know what? All I want is I want to see two halves of football, not one half. And I want to be able to look at the team and say, like, I'll always remember that Tottenham game. Yeah, remember they were 2-0 up at half time, right? And
sorry, I'm laughing at the comments.
A few of us got kind of moaned at because some City fans booed us at half time. Yeah. Remember when we booed at half time against Tottenham? Now, being in the ground, I got it because at half time, the way that we went down by 2 goals, because we conceded one, then conceded a second within minutes. And after both goals were conceded, I looked at all the players, and Gundogan included, and they all were looking at the ground, not talking to each other, right? And remember, that was a night where ticket prices had gone up a bit. It was an early kickoff. We'd all have to rush to get there on time. And if as fans you're doing that, and then on the pitch, you're seeing players not put in the effort, I understand the frustration. Because do you know what? If your team is shit, and so they're losing, it's like, it's all right, but they're trying. But if you know the levels of your team and your team are just not trying hard enough, it's frustrating, right? And at the moment, I'm not saying we've been that bad that I'm saying no one cares, but we know what our players can do when they really care. And I'm more than willing to, if I see a good performance yesterday, I will be there going, yeah, we can get behind this narrative that when we turn it on, we turn it on. If we keep seeing performances like we've seen recently, we don't have the right to say business end of the season we come good, right? We don't have the right to say we're in a title race because we won a treble last season, because then we are really, really becoming like them lot over there, yeah? Mm-hmm. And we don't want to do that. We do not want to become them by any means whatsoever. And yeah, tomorrow, I really want to see, sorry, I've got to speak on it. I want to see Calvin Phillips, because I think sometimes you have to, this is Villa away. Oh, listen, I've been pushing for Phillips to go.
I
have been saying I'll drive Phillips to play, yeah? But the one thing that I actually think Phillips can do is be a destroyer, right? But Pep needs to tell him, be a destroyer. Pep can't be telling him, I want you to do this. Don't tell him to try and be Rodri. Don't tell him to be Calvin Phillips in an England shirt. Yeah. Right? Then you have Jon Stones start as one of the defenders and come and sit next to him. Jon Stones can do that side of things. If Jon Stones starts as a centre-back, then I would play Rico Lewis and Bernardo Silva next to Phillips, because then you've got the energy going forwards and getting back. And just tell Phillips, you stay put. Do the destroyer role, because Villa away is not an easy game. And sometimes you just have to start walking again before you can run.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Everyone can say, "Shut up, Phillips is not starting."
We are going to move on to Villa in a second. I just want to get these two donations out of the way because they're both big. I need you to hit the soundboard here twice, Porty. And again.
Professional idiot.
Professional Idiot has gifted 10 memberships, so 10 lucky people in the chat. You are now official members of the City Extra channel, thanks to our professional idiot in the community. I don't like calling you professional idiot. You're a professional.
No,
legend,
someone called him professional legend. It was some to monkey
professional
anyway.
legend. So big up professional idiot.
Don't call him just idiot.
And big up to everybody who got the memberships. Congratulations. Make sure you thank Professional Idiot. Make sure you hit the like button, 300 in the building. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're going to move on to the Villa game now. Obviously, a massive, massive game. Villa 4th. We are 3rd. I believe we're a point ahead of them. They're absolutely flying right now. Emery really has them flying. An interesting stat I was told in the Big Six last night, I don't know if it's true or false, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's true, is that they actually haven't lost at home since last season against Arsenal when Jorginho scored that goal from long range. Wow. So that gives you a bit of an idea, people, of how much of a fortress Villa Park has become. We've been talking for a long time about how long it's been since we lost the Etihad, whereas silently Villa have been doing pretty well the exact same thing. So I suppose, Joe, we may as well start with you. How do you feel going into this one? I think it's an interesting one to approach.
Shitting myself, I'm going to be honest. I really don't know what to think. Normally I'm looking forward to games. Like I was looking forward to Tottenham. I was looking forward to when we played Chelsea and Liverpool. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow night when that game kicks off. I'm really not. Because, I mean, no Rodri, no Grealish, probably no Doku. I mean, we've been speaking about how thin our squad is. It's getting thinner, which is a little bit worrying. And I mean, we didn't win when Rodri was suspended in the first part of the season. We lost those 3 games. It's not only the defensive side as well. I think we only scored 1 goal in those 3 games as well. So it's going forward that it affects us as well. So, I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to it. But I suppose the team can surprise me. I'm just hoping Pep changes something going into the game, specifically the defence. Obviously, Jon Stones is going to be back, so he will change something there. Where he plays, I mean, he's kind of hinted at playing him as a holding midfielder. I think there was a press conference quote that said he can play as the number 6. So I'm kind of expecting him to play that role. But I do want to see a different defence because I don't want to see a Kanji joining and sitting next to him. And I don't want to see Walker pushing on as a right winger because pointless experiments. But I don't know. It's hard to be positive, I suppose, given we haven't won in 3 league games and now we have to go through arguably one of the hardest places to go in the Premier League that we'll have to go this season.
It's we're going to see some changes. We're absolutely going to see some changes because his hand is forced simply to the amount of bodies he has unavailable. But Jon Stones, Amos coming back is absolutely huge. What would you like to see, I suppose, tomorrow night, whether it's attitude based or selection based?
A result, probably. I think this game gets put under the category.
Just yes or no to the panel. Would anybody be satisfied? I'm not saying would you take it. Would you be satisfied with a draw?
No.
Probably not.
In the context of you playing Villa away, you should be satisfied.
Yeah, in isolation.
Yeah, you should be satisfied. But I just think, given the way that we're going right now, City really need to step up and win the game.
Yeah, I think it's one of them ones where, like you said, where we are at the moment, you go, do you know what? We shouldn't expect more than that almost. But what I said before about we need a reaction and we need one now, this is the type of game that Prime City that can go on and win leagues, they react, right? And they go out and out of nowhere pull out a performance that reminds everyone who we are. And that's what we want to see. It's a tough call, especially with the injuries that we have. But I guess a tough call is winning a treble, right? A tough call is doing a 3-peat. We've done them, so why should we not be able to go and be? It's not all of a sudden we should be looking at Villa going, fucking hell, getting 3 points here is just unachievable. We did, this squad did win a treble, right? So we just have to press the right buttons. People have to do some soul searching, and Calvin Phillips has to put out a 10-10 performance.
He's trying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm holding out for that one, and I think I'll be waiting a while. But no, I know exactly what you mean. I think I said on this show last week that I would probably, if it's on the table, take 4 points from Tottenham and Villa combined. In my head, I was expecting a win versus Tottenham and a draw against Aston Villa. Obviously, now it's a draw against Tottenham, and it's going to be a difficult one against Aston Villa. Look, City, of course, City can win there. I think it'd be foolish of us to sit here and say they can't. And I think, as good as City's players are and as bad as the absences are at the moment, one of the driving factors will be the last 3 matches. Bernardo Silva's interview post-match against Tottenham was sensational, and you can just imagine the conversations they're having behind closed doors. The people like to say City don't have any leaders in the team anymore, and I think on the pitch, definitely, but we know behind closed doors that they do exist. Bernardo Silva's suddenly, one of the most senior players, and he can put it straight. We've seen him put it straight. Kyle Walker, love him or loathe him, can at least galvanise a dressing room. He did that speech before the Champions League final, which, and it was quoted, helping, and he was obviously disappointed not to play, but he stood up and spoke. Aston Villa is a horrible game. I wouldn't have minded a week off after that Tottenham match, just because it was probably more emotionally draining than physically draining, and it would have been nice just to sort of regroup and go again at the weekend. But at the same time, what an opportunity this is, by the way. Speak about kick-starting a season almost, and we usually do that, February, March, but with the Club World Cup, we are gonna be playing catch-up because we're already behind, and it's unlikely we'll go into that with, we won't go into that with a lead at the top of the table. Barring Arsenal and Liverpool losing the next 2 games and City winning all of them. So yeah, I think what an opportunity to go out and make a statement. We've been asking for that the last couple of weeks. It hasn't come. It'll be febrile atmosphere at Villa Park. It is a minging place to go at the best of times. They're on a high. Go and show everyone why City won the treble last year. That's what I'd be saying. If I'm the manager, I'm saying your reputation's on the line here. Make sure that people don't think it was a fluke. Yeah, I've teams found a way to beat City. If team found a way to get a result against City, go make sure that's not the case. Being said, I think if I was to predict a score, I think I'm going for a score draw. Not that I want it, but I feel like that's probably what we're going to see.
Tell you what, actually, on that, if we kept a clean sheet, that is a statement as well. That's a confidence booster for the defenders as well, right? And if I'm Ruben Diaz right now, that's what I'm looking at. Ruben Diaz, Ederson, Stones if he comes back in, and also for, I guess, a confidence booster if Vardy was to start. That would be a massive, massive confidence booster, because at the moment, the defence, they know that eyes are on them, because the truth is we're scoring goals, so they know that
Villa have scored the second most goals in the league this season behind City. That's incredible.
Brilliant.
Hats off to Unai Emery.
Phillips is the answer, I'm telling you.
Smashed it. He's absolutely smashed it with Aston Villa. He really has. But the way we always have a joke about typical City, and that stems back from way before the takeover era. We always joke about that. But if you're going to talk about typical City in the current era, it would be typical City to have your backs against the wall, you're missing top players, you're off the back of 3 draws or 3 poor results, which we would consider today, to go out and make a big statement performance, like Amos is saying, to go out and do something people aren't expecting. I would be surprised if the bookies have us as clear favourites to win tomorrow night. I'd be surprised if the footballing world have us as clear favourites to win tomorrow night, purely because of the form that both teams are in. And the lack of confidence people have in Manchester City, Martin. So my confidence is quite high. How do you feel about it?
Trying to be careful, because I'm the opposite to Amos a little bit. I wouldn't wanted a week off. I think they were chomping at the bit to get back out and prove everyone wrong. And that's what I'm hoping for a little bit. Of course, we'd have wanted the week with injuries and all that, but it is what it is. But I was just looking at Villa's thing. Listen, I think Villa have been fantastic, no doubt about it. But this is their proper first test at home for them. Their real proper first test at home. Because they've done very well. They beat Palace, they beat Luton, etc., etc. Smacked Everton around. but none of the top 5, 6 have gone there yet. We're the first ones to rock up to Villa Park. So this will also be a test for Villa to see how far they've come, if that makes sense. The only time they've probably played, I mean, they won at Tottenham and they got slapped at Liverpool.
Got slapped at Newcastle too, didn't they? Did they get
slapped
beaten?
at Newcastle.
Open day.
So
Yeah, that was really early, wasn't it?
I'm not saying, Villa are, for me, Villa were my outside chance of getting top 4. Because I thought they'd probably done, out of everyone, including us, I thought they'd done the best transfer business. I thought they were very clever in the market in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing is, obviously, they've got Diego Carlos, or what's he called? Diego
Carlos, the centre back.
Who looks like, who's the guy we had? Mangala version 2 at the moment.
We were actually linked with Diego Carlos.
Yeah, I know we was. I'm just hoping Harland just sits on him tomorrow, because I mean, just going by earlier, I think Harland's best game was Sunday. I think the guy should
really good, man. I think
he's getting better and better each game.
Yeah,
That
he cares so much, man.
Grealish's goal was.
Do you know what? Actually, just on that as well, has everyone else not noticed the Doku and Harland thing? That Doku never looks up for Harland. Never. And I was watching it when he came on I was watching Haaland's body language when Doku came on, right? And Doku never looks up for an early ball. Now, that's the one thing Grealish does do. Grealish looks up. Now, I'm not saying he always plays it, because if the ball is not on, he doesn't play it. But if the ball is on, he will play it. Whereas Doku never looks for an early ball. Never, ever. And I was
He does have to improve his awareness, Doku. I think that's fair to say.
He's
Absolutely.
Young, Doku, you got to remember, he's probably played the same amount of minutes as he did the whole of last season for Real.
And the thing is,
that's mad to even think about that. We're 14 games in and he's played as most minutes as he did the whole of last season.
And we look at Leroy Sane, yeah? Leroy Sane, when he arrived at Manchester City, hardly featured until January, right? He took his time, because I believe he was homesick. He really took his time to settle into the team. And this is a thing, there's been this thing that everyone says for years, that players need a season under Pep, right? Pep's come out and spoke on how quick Doku is kind of absorbing everything that he's telling him to do. But we have to remember, the guy is he 20? I think he's 21 now, yeah? It's his first season playing in the Premier League. He's having a phenomenal season, but there are elements to it. He doesn't know the system yet. He doesn't know the runs that Haaland makes yet. He's still raw. He's raw talent. And if we look at what ended up with Leroy Sane, it's looking good for Doku, because give him a season under Pep and all of a sudden, my God, he's going to be unreal. But I just think as well with the Grealish thing, he looks for Haaland that little bit more. And the Haaland cares, man. This is the thing. I want to see players that care, and Haaland cares. And his overall game is getting better and better. I'm intrigued to see. I guess we have to start Foden and Alvarez tomorrow, don't we? We have to.
I think it'll be Foden and Alvarez. I'd even go Foden on the left, Bernardo on the right.
I think it would be Foden left, Bernardo right, and then you'll have Alvarez midfield standard.
I feel sorry for Foden, by the way, because then he's getting punched out to another area again. When like Amos said, the guy's on fire at the minute, and he's just.
Yeah, I think you have to though. There's not much choices, but for me, I hear the Bernardo thing, but I think we really need to concentrate on that midfield. Really, really do. I think I'd play Bernardo.
I like the Rico.
Yeah, Rico's impressing me so much. Even when he came on the other day, he gets it. He cares. He's got energy. He's we looked a bit drained the second half. We looked tired, and Rico's legs have not been burnt out yet. So I think that could be another reason.
Kovacic is fit now as well, isn't he?
I think Kovacic will play. I think he'll play.
Yeah,
I think he has to.
Who
else if he doesn't?
Especially with the fact that we're leaking goals a bit now, I think Pep's going to try and protect that back line as much as possible. And I think Kovacic, he will be like, throw him in there. I don't know. The thing is, Alvarez isn't protecting that back line. He's he dips, doesn't he, sometimes in that midfield. And that's only because he plays so close to Harland. And obviously he can't always get back. And that's why basically we're getting walked through.
Has anything been said on Nunes? Because I watched it. He's not said anything on Nunes, has he?
No, that's the thing. You know what I think it is? I think the journalists have forgot Nunes exists, so they don't even ask him about it. Like, it's.
He's going to
I
rock
wait
up in
every
start
time
11
thinking,
tomorrow.
yeah, I'm like, please give us some Nunes news. And there's just nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I don't know why he got injured. I don't know when he got injured. And he's just not. He's not even on the
Anyone
planet
know the
anymore.
actual injury?
Fake one for the international break. I thought it was a fake one for the international break. Then it's like, oh, he really is injured. I don't know. With Kovacic, I'm a little bit concerned with Kovacic. Like, I
think he'll play. I think he'll definitely play.
Yeah. But again, I'm just trying to look at partnerships that have worked, right? And I thought the Kovacic, in fact, Huey, it was outside the Etihad. I said when Rodri got suspended, I said, yeah, no problem. Kovacic, Bernardo Silva will go and do a job. It didn't go and do a job at the Etihad, at the Emirates, right? If you look at the start of the season, while Stones was injured, Rodri and Kovacic worked well, yeah? Then Rodri went out and we tried Kovacic with different people. It didn't work, right? Rodri and Stones works. And there's this thing of certain people. And with Kovacic, I think he works with Rodri. I don't think he works as being our DM. I don't think he does. And I thought he would.
Could you not run Stones and Kovacic? Not Stones as an inverting centre back though. I mean, like you've still got your standard back four. Yeah, he's straight CDM. So you're not having Stones inverting. You've got Walker, Akanji, Diaz, and Ake, say, and then Stones and Kovacic and whoever. So basically, you just go back to basics a bit.
But we're not, because the back to basics is Jon Stones as part of the defence. Like,
yeah, but I mean, like given current circumstances,
you're not going to get back forward and don't invert anyone.
Back four, don't invert and play Stones as a straight CDM in Pep's press conference. Yeah, it was. Sean Dashball it. A bit of Sam Allardyce and don't
big
go
man,
anyhow.
little man up front.
In Pep's press conference today, he said Jon Stones can play from the off as a centre defensive midfielder.
I actually thought the other day, like,
Pardon?
He said Aki could do that as well.
Did he? Oh no!
I think he's shouting bollocks there.
I think I'd be a bit worried about that one.
Listen, shit. I've heard Ake can do it. I've heard Akanji can do it. I've heard Vardio can do it. The only person that I've been told can't do it is Diaz.
Calvin Phillips, yeah. Is it the only actual available defensive mid we've got? He's the one who can't do it.
Let's play Ortega in goal. And let's play Ederson in the DM.
Yeah, Ederson can do it. Fuck it, I can do it.
Let's all calm
I think there could be something in the Stones thing, yeah, because Stones was on the bench for the last 3 games, yeah, and against Tottenham, when we went 3-2 up, or maybe even at 2-2, I might have thought it. I was thinking, hold on, we got Stones on the bench here, but I don't know if Pep's been not rushing Stones back. Firstly, because he don't want to rush him back, but secondly, because with Rodri being on, 1 yellow away, I don't know if Pep was thinking in his head, we're going to lose Rodri again. Sooner or later, we're going to lose him.
Yeah, well, he knew that was the case. Rodri was going to get a yellow card.
He got booked quite early, though, didn't
he? Yeah. And I don't know if maybe he was thinking, do you know what? Let's not rush. Let's really not bring Stones on this game because we're going to need him against Villa now. So it could be we didn't bring him on for that reason, because he's thinking, no. We need fully fit, ready Stones. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. It's one of those ones where I think something that hasn't been good for. I mean, even if he is fit, with Nunes, with Kovacic, with all of our new players, is you want to give them time. And you want to be at your best to be able to go, do you know what? Let's give Nunes 30 minutes. Let's give Stones 30 minutes in the DM role to see if he can do it. But at the moment, because of the other injuries we've got and everything that's going on, it's hard to embed players when every game means something. Do you know what I mean? If we're 4-0 up, you can go, Nunes, come on, 40 minutes, off you go. But we can't really afford to do it. We've got Villa away, and we're talking about trying out different players in the DM role. That's not good. It isn't good.
Next on the list of, by the way, yellow cards is Akanji's currently on 4, so he's 1 away from a suspension as well.
That's a blessing in disguise, maybe. Blessing in disguise, maybe. Would you say?
Yeah. It's gonna be massively interesting to see who he selects. We've got about 10 minutes left in the show, but I want to play a quick clip from our paid partnership with BetterHelp. Jody Porter here is going to explain to you how it's going.
Is something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals? Regardless, whether you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human like each and every one of us going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach life in a very different way. That's why we're excited to tell you all about BetterHelp. We're on a mission to make therapy accessible, an important mission as finding a therapist can be so hard. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easy, because online, remote, and by just filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a credentialed therapist in as little as a few days. You can find a link to BetterHelp in the description. Clicking that link helps not only support everything we do at City Extra, but also gets you 10% off your first month at BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you out. And because finding a therapist is like dating, if you don't like your therapist, which is a common thing, some people just don't get on, then you can easily switch to a new one at no additional cost. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/cityextra. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this stream.
Massive thanks to Jody Porter for teleporting to the back of the shed there to tell us about BetterHelp and teleporting back. But chat, you already know already. This is it's a great partnership we have going on. BetterHelp. I always say it. It's one that I really like because it can really help people. If it may help you or help someone you know, do pass it on. There's a good deal there for you, and say City Extra sent you. Right, we've got about 5 minutes left, 5-10 minutes left. Obviously, Arsenal playing in a few minutes. Should be interesting to see how they do against Luton. For the last sort of 5-10 minutes, I want to have a little talk about the actual title race, because Liverpool have, I don't know about creeped their way in, but they've definitely stamped their authority. Are we all in agreement that it's now a 3-horse title race, or is someone going to fall off? Are City going to pull away? It's so intriguing for me.
He wants to go first. He wants to put the nails on the mustaches.
I think Liverpool will be our main threat going towards as we get to like the business end of the season. I think it'll be Liverpool will be the main threat, but I don't think, as much as I'd like to say Arsenal will fall off, I don't think you can completely write them off. I think they'll be in and around there, but I just think it'll be City, Liverpool as the main two. I think Arsenal will probably be in and around there in a third. Arsenal fans fuming at me now, isn't it?
I've changed.
Have you? Have you switched? Are you thinking Arsenal again?
No, I honestly thought Liverpool, and then I watched them at the AA, and I was like, yeah, they're not all that. They're not what I thought they were.
They've still got levels, yeah.
And then I watched them yesterday at Fulham. Sunday with Fulham, I'm like, they were damn lucky.
They've got some worldies.
They're conceding. We're talking about us conceding. Liverpool were a shambles the other night.
You know what? It's there's this thing, like, and I can go back as far as when they had Fabinho, when Fabinho was playing as DM, right? Because Van Dijk was out. They were going, oh yeah, but that's because we were having to play a DM in as a defender. It's like, yeah, we did with Fernandinho the season before, right? But we didn't get that, right? And now, you know, Van Dijk's come back, and apparently Van Dijk is back to his best, yeah? Coincidence, Alisson's out and they're conceding, right? Where was Van Dijk at the weekend? This Van Dijk that apparently is back. And I do hear it. I think the one thing that, you know what, Arteta, people will say Arteta copies Pep. Well, if he does, he's a smart motherfucker, right? Sorry, excuse my French. But defensively, that's where they looked so good this season. And we won a treble based on our defense. Yes, we had Harland banging goals, but it was based on how good we were defensively, how few goals we conceded. For me, Arsenal is all on, well, firstly, the transfer window probably is relevant, but the most important thing is Declan Rice. If they keep Declan Rice fit all season, they, for me, at the moment, I'm saying, look, Arsenal and Liverpool right now are proving they are in a title race because they've earned the right to say they're in a title race. At the moment, we haven't earned that right this season. We're in the title race because of what we did last season. So
that's a harrowing thing to hear, isn't it?
Look, I go on arguing and defending City all the time, and I'm willing to say it. Tomorrow night I can completely change. If we go out and see a performance of champions, then I'll go, yep, thank you. We have them back, and it's back to business end of the season. When it matters, yeah, we do what. But at the moment, I'm saying we're not doing it. Like, because Liverpool at the Etihad should be a win. That matters, yeah? And we didn't turn it into a win. Chelsea away has pretty much every title winning season. Chelsea away is one of those 1-0ers, yeah? We always get it done there. Tottenham at home. People say Tottenham away. We get that. Tottenham at home in the league. It's never really, we usually win that, right? And all of these, we're not putting in the performances that champions put in at the moment. Whereas, Liverpool coming back from being 3-2 down, that's a performance of champions. Arsenal holding on to win 2-1. They're performances that we need to put in. So at the moment, I'm going to be honest, there's definitely no thought in my head right now of Manchester City running away with this. None.
Amos, who are you looking at?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we're just sort of in that formative part of the season now, and I see what Daps is saying. I think if you were to ask me this season which team looks like champions, I'd probably say Arsenal, not because they've been good, but the fact is that the top of the table having been bad, and I think that's something that we in previous title winning campaigns have gone, yeah, that's a fantastic, and especially when Arsenal haven't done it before. I think last season everyone got, including Arteta and the Arsenal fans, got very excited about being top of the table. It was like a puppy wagging the tail a little bit too much. They couldn't control themselves, and then ultimately you get to April, the flapping, and it went downhill. It'll be interesting to see if they can hold on to that bottle, because that's the one thing I see in their squad, which I think, when it's going well, it goes well. But when things start to turn on them a little bit, do you remember Newcastle away when Arteta's accusing the PGMOL of conspiracy and, saying it's embarrassing, it's etc. That can be a bad one. And the thing is with Liverpool, you can never write out Liverpool until they're completely, until 38 games on the season. That's then. So, work for City to do. I'm still backing City. I think everyone should still back City to finish top, but there is certainly issues at play that do need sorting out. Maybe not major issues, but certainly issues.
Joe, what do you think about the race?
Yeah, I suppose it is a 3-horse race, because if you count us in it, there's 2 teams above us. So I don't see how you can say that they're not in the race. I mean, be interesting to see how heavily Klopp invests himself in the Europa League, because the Thursday-Sunday schedule could be a killer. Yeah. That could really, they could drop a few points just from the schedule alone. I know he's never been a big man for the Cups. He always usually puts out like 11 changes, but again, I'd be interested to see whether he tries to win that, because, it is a trophy at the end of the day. It's a European
he lost
Cup.
it before, right? This is one that he hasn't won before. He actually lost before. So for me, I agree with you on that. I think it could get to a point where he wants this one, because this is one he hasn't won yet.
Well, see, I'm one of them. I'm going to look at it more on February the 1st. That window shuts. Who's done what business, where, what, how, when.
Yeah.
Because I honestly do believe, I think we will do business in January.
Well, there's rumours today on Twitter that we're going to get 100 million January to spend. Like City basically going, look, you can invest in January now if you need to, where you think you need to. And I think that'll be probably a midfield.
Have Arsenal, after their heavy investment in the summer, have they got the money to go again if they needed to? I know there was talk of Ivan Toner. Have they got another 90 million or something to bang down again? I'm not too
sure.
Would
it be the right move as well? Would it be the right move?
Are Liverpool going to drop another 80, 90? Because I think Liverpool could do with another centre-back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Matip just got injured as well, didn't he?
Arsenal have got Timber coming back. See, it's weird because I think Arsenal need a striker, we need a midfielder, and Liverpool need a centre-back. So it's like all 3 need a spine of a team.
Need a good old NFL trade-off, don't we?
Yeah. So
yeah.
We need the mid, they need the striker, they need the centre-back. Let's, sort something out here.
Do you know what? Douglas,
Calvin Phillips going cheap.
Calvin Phillips, yeah, in a bit, mate.
for you. Good deal, Arteta. Good deal.
Good price.
100 million to get him after tomorrow night. I'm telling you. No, do you know what? I think the player that will be interesting to see if anyone gets him is Douglas Luiz, because I've seen him linked with Arsenal. I've seen him linked with Arsenal. And it's an interesting one, because if I'm Douglas Luiz, I'm looking at that Liverpool team and I'm thinking, that position is mine. They need a 6. I'm going there. If you look at Arsenal, if he goes to Arsenal, yeah, they would then have Rice and Louise, who could literally take it in turns to do the 6 or 8. They could literally just swap between them.
Don't they still have party there at Arsenal?
Yeah, but we don't even. I mean, something came out the other day that there's someone's been a naughty boy again. Yeah, and it's someone that's already been a naughty boy has been a naughty boy again. It doesn't seem to be going away. I've heard it might be him. I think Arsenal are done with him. I think, but
I thought they're already done with him.
I've asked for that 100 million to drop on Douglas Luiz.
Now, but do you know, in hindsight, just on Douglas Luiz, don't you think this is the issue we cause for ourselves? Yeah, that when you have Rodri and you've got such a good 6, it's very difficult to buy in a 6 that is that has the right mentality, but is still willing to play second fiddle to Rodri, because
it's harder to buy a backup than it is to buy a first team player.
Especially when we had Lavia and Douglas Luiz.
We have
Bill, you two can both go, and one's at Chelsea being after Arsenal, and you're like, what?
All these DMs have been at City.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you can't buy in a good player with the right mentality of a certain age, because otherwise they wouldn't be going, I'm not going to come there and sit on the bench, right? Unless you get one that really does think they're going to, push Rodri to the bench. But in a Pep Guardiola system, I don't believe there's any 6 in world football that think they're going to do that.
I think you'd have to go for experience, wouldn't you? You'd have to go for an experienced CDM. We've been linked with Tony Cruz before.
No, but we had the buyback on Luiz.
That would be, but come on, we're dreaming. We're dreaming.
We had the buyback on Luiz. We never triggered it.
£40 million buyback, wasn't it?
We had the option on Lavia. Never. So it's like there's somewhere they haven't wanted to do it. Because I know at the beginning he had his work permit issues, but he went to Miller, or whatever he did, and we could have brought him back, and we never pulled the trigger.
Yeah, but that's what I think. With Douglas Luiz, what you've got there is you'd have someone that could, even if he wasn't playing in the 6 role, he could also play in an 8 role. He could do the job in an 8 role as well. So with someone like, and I think maybe that might be what we've gone for with maybe Cover and Nunes, but I'm waiting to see on them too. So
we'll wait to see. We'll wait to see who does what business in January.
How was last night, by the way, Huey? I didn't watch it.
Last night? Oh, it was good. Good.
Was it all right? Wasn't too bad?
It wasn't too bad, thankfully.
By the way, I'm going to go on record now. I'm going for 3-1 win tomorrow. Screw it.
Yes, go on, Martin.
We're doing them 3-1. Don't know who's scoring. Calvin Phillips, actually.
Calvin Phillips.
We're doing it. I'm doing it.
Calvin Phillips screamer, yeah. Arsenal are playing now in 5 minutes. I do want to watch that, so we'll start to wrap it up slowly now.
Say extra for all your complaints. Don't come at me.
Yeah, he's out in it. He's like, he drops that and dips.
No, I think we're gonna be angry tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's the reaction. That's what Daps was saying before. That's the reaction that we want to see.
Yeah,
we want that City.
The anger he went off the pitch with. I think he's going on the pitch tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm going mad. But I just fancy us to do it.
Right.
When we get beat 5-0, my reaction will just be post-match will be next week.
You'll be messaging me saying, delete that clip.
Edit it quick.
Yeah.
Just to say this before we end as well. When was, I think it might have been Amos that was saying about this myth that we don't have leaders. Do you know what I think this season, actually? I think Harland might come to the forefront a bit more of a leader. Because he is a year older. He has won a treble, right? He came in and he was a difference. And you see he cares. Like, he really does care. Those moments, like, I'm all for that. Because the good thing was, he was still controlled. Listen, he took himself away from that situation. It wasn't other players pulling him away. He turned around and walked off, which he shows a level of control and he shows that he cares. And I think he's the type of person that can get players like Foden up for it a bit more. I think Haaland can really get in the ear of Foden because they're a similar age group. And I think probably give Foden that real, come on, this is our time now. We're of a certain age now. We're not kids no more. We need to step up. And, I've heard off of good sources that last season, Haaland was a very, very good influence on Jack Grealish, right? But he is that player that can motivate other players. And I think this season you might see Haaland step up and become a real leader as well.
don't see why not.
He put that
I
performance
don't see why not.
on Sunday. He put that performance in. He looked like someone that cared.
I don't see why not. Especially with new players coming in like Vardiol, Doku, Nunes, these kind of guys. Like they'll look to Haaland, even though he's still relatively new in the Manchester City squad. The fact that he had such an impact so quickly, they'll look to him and say, "How can I settle in and impact the way you did, or how can I get close to impacting the way you did, if that's possible?" But listen, lads, like I said, we're going to wrap it up now. It's been an absolutely fantastic show. Great guests, great conversation. I'm going to let the lads shout out their channels and let you know what's going on this week on each of their great platforms. Joe, you stuck to your promise. You've started making content. What's the plan?
There'll be a preview for the Aston Villa game going up shortly after this on your personal channel on HMTV. I did promise I'd start making content, and I have. And there'll, of course, there'll be a match reaction after the game where, I mean, hopefully we don't get spanked.
Absolutely fantastic to see Joe making content. Jordy, you wouldn't mind doing me a favor? Maybe stick the lads' channels.
I've already done it. The links to everyone's channels is in the description. Every single one.
Me and you were like De Bruyne and Haaland. We're like telepathic. You know what I'm saying?
Straight
like Rashford.
Daps, never a foul. What's the plan for the week, brother?
Yeah, we're live tonight at 10:15, I think. Yeah, probably the plan is probably a Daps cooking, to be fair. That seems to be becoming a bit of a regular one. So we'll see. Hopefully not. Hopefully everyone gets hushed tomorrow. But yeah, you know, the usual thing. We've got actually a new channel as well, Never a Foul Reacts, where we're reacting to other people's content. So we might react to Martin on this one, to be fair, saying 3-1. And then Never a Foul, and I'm on with Rants and Bants at 9 o'clock tonight. And it's going to be an interesting one because both Manchester teams are in the mud, so...
Do go over and support Daps over Never
Nice
Foul.
to meet Joe. I think I've done something with Joe on your channel before, haven't I, Huey? Sure,
the old channel, yeah, on the old channel.
But nice to meet you, Amos, as well. Nice to meet you.
Absolutely, man. Been a pleasure.
We will be live again with Daps for the Daps show on Thursday after the Aston Villa game, so we'll have plenty to talk about then. Hopefully, a good result. So do keep an eye on Thursday for the time we're going live with Daps. Amos, the City Report pod, absolutely churning out content as I see. What's going on this week?
Yeah, usual 5 day a week podcast every morning, bite size as usual, 25-30 minutes, just reacting to the week's news. Also, personally, started a new column with City Extra, weekly column, writing about the cheers.
One of us. You
can read it on the website. This week's was about City and big matches. So basically like we've been speaking about today. So yeah, lots of stuff. There's always stuff to speak about when City are playing like this, which is good for us, but maybe not for the heart rate and the results.
Fact.
Yeah, congratulations to Amos joining the City Extra team. He's now writing over there, so do keep an eye on the website for Amos's articles. And Freddie and all the other writers are always dropping fantastic pieces, so do keep an eye on that. Martin, finally, last but not least, the Mancunian way. What's happening, my friend?
Post-match tomorrow for the Villa game. Thursday night, got our Thursday night chat where we go into the week's news and talking points. I did get an update because I did promise everyone a couple of weeks back. We've moved the main road show to January. We're letting Christmas and everything get out the way because we're going to do it properly. There's new graphics, thumbnails, everything's coming in January. We're going to change it all around a little bit. Pardon?
Is that with who I think it is?
Yeah. So that's coming. And there's loads of ideas coming, but you might see the channel revamped in January a little bit.
Love that.
Love that. Absolutely.
You might not as well.
Everybody in the City content creation space, we want everybody.
Everyone's always invited.
We want everybody to do well. We want all the channels to grow. We want all of our great guests to get their love they deserve because when they come on these shows, they make these shows as great as they are. Listen, we're going to wrap it up now. Chat, thank you for coming in tonight. Still 200 odd people in the building. Make sure you smash a like on your way out. If you're watching on playback, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. You'll catch Jordy Porty as well tomorrow for the Aston Villa watch along. So do come back to the channel tomorrow night. And join Porty for the interactive watch along. He's got loads going on there now, so it's good fun. And we'll reconvene this panel show next week, hopefully with I know I said this last week, but a bit more positivity. Good night and God bless everyone. All the best.
We got beat 5-0.